Hello, let's crack on. From now on, just as the soil is covered in dew every morning, you will get a Dew in the Morning video with Richard Dawkins and the Selfish Gene every morning for several days. Thankfully, they will be short videos. The next chapter, Symbiosis. We usually talk about reciprocal altruism between members of the same species. There is no reason why such relationships cannot exist between members of different species. Feeding aphids produce a sugar-rich, in inverted commas, honeydew, which forms as droplets on their back ends. Some species of ant, in inverted commas, milk the aphids by stroking their hindquarters and eating the resulting honeydew, and there is evidence that the aphids go out of their way to make this easy for the ants. In return for this supply of food, the aphids receive protection from predators. In some examples of this phenomenon, ants actually incubate the aphid eggs in their own nests, feed the young insects, and then carry the adults up to feeding points in the plant. Dawkins explains the relationship. A quotation: "Aphids have the right sort of mouth parts for pumping up plant sap, but such sucking mouth parts are no good for self-defense. Ants are no good at sucking sap from plants, but they are good at fighting. Ant genes for cultivating and protecting aphids have been favored in ant gene pools. Aphid genes for cooperating with ants have been favored in aphid gene pools." Close the quotation. Such relationships can evolve in accordance with selfish gene theory and become the norm between two species. A quotation: "A relationship of mutual benefit between members of different species is called mutualism or symbiosis. Members of different species often have much to offer each other because they can bring different, in inverted commas, skills to the partnership. This kind of fundamental asymmetry can lead to evolutionarily stable strategies of mutual cooperation." Close the quotation. In some circumstances, the relationship can become so intimate that it is difficult to tell the two species apart. For example, familial lichens are in fact composed of two species, one a fungus and the other a green alga. The two species have been evolving together in symbiosis for so long that neither can now exist without the other. In fact, it has been suggested that all animal and plant cells are actually the product of a symbiotic relationship, albeit one that began billions of years ago. Unlike simple bacteria cells, your cells contain a variety of organelles, compartments within the cell, which perform particular tasks. One type of these, the mitochondria, are responsible for producing energy in a form that can be used by the molecular machinery of the cells. Animal metabolism is balanced on such a knife edge that if you removed all mitochondria from your body, you would probably only have enough energy to last a few seconds. Cyanide, for example, blocks one of the crucial chemical pathways in energy production, rapidly bringing most metabolic processes to a halt. Mitochondria are interesting because some of the information used to make them is encoded on DNA actually found in the mitochondria, rather than on the cell's main, in inverted commas, database of DNA, in brackets, the 23 pairs of chromosomes in humans, close the brackets. This has led to speculation that mitochondria were once separate organisms, like the non-organelle containing bacteria we find today. At some point fairly early on in life's history, the mitochondrial organisms began a symbiotic relationship with other cells, the end result of which was the integration of the mitochondria into the cells of all multicellular organisms. A footnote. Astute readers will realize that selfish gene theory should demand that the mitochondrial genes will retain their, in inverted commas, selfishness, and may thus engage in activities designed to increase their own propagation, even if it is at the expense of other genes in the organism. In fact, there is some evidence that this is the case. Mitochondrial genes are passed only down maternal lines in many species, as no mitochondria from sperm enters the egg. Thus, mitochondrial genes should, in inverted commas, prefer female offspring, as male offspring represent an evolutionary dead end. It seems that some mitochondrial genes do in fact bias the sex ratio in this way, though not in humans. Once again, this is a reminder that the organism is merely a vehicle and that it is the genes that matter. In brackets, examples of mitochondrial genes and the full explanation are given in Matt Ridley's book, The Red Queen, Sex and the Evolution of Human Nature, 1993, close the brackets. Thank you for listening. Bye until the next time.